Hello, and today is pretty straightforward. We've got the Season 4, 5.5. Really, this has kind of been over since 3, hasn't it? We've got the Season 5.5, or the mid-season patch notes for Call of Duty Warzone's Last Stand. So we're going to kind of look over it all, and I'm going to try to get to the bottom of what actually is improving and what isn't improving, and what all we can learn here before we play this for the next 2 months and then just leave it behind forever. So, first thing, big heartfelt message from Ravensoft saying, we hope you enjoy the mid-season update, and we'll see you soon on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So there you go. Last Stand, we can see the actual playlist here. We're seeing solo buybacks this week with Resurgence for Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island. They've got solos and quads on Fortune's Keep and Rebirth, duos and trios on just Fortune's Keep. Blood Money is in, solo buybacks is here, and then duos through quads. Next week, we've got pretty much the similar thing, except for mini and trios on solo, plunder quads, Fortune's Keep, solo through quads, Rebirth Resurgence solo quads. Next week after that, we've got Champions of Caldera and Iron Trials returning. So Champions of Caldera solos, Iron Trials quads, Golden Plunder quads, and then similar premise but reversed for Fortune's Keep, except for its solo trios. Interesting. And then the last week on that they have marked out here for the 20th, solo through quads, Clash 50-50, Plunder quads, Fortune's Keep solo quads, and Rebirth Resurgence solos through quads. You can always find this information on their Trello board if you really care, or you can just come ask me every week what's there, and I'll tell you anyways. Playlist rotations every week, variations of Plunder every week. Fortune's Rebirth are going to be swapping around. Rebirth or Battle Royale getting solos and, all the sorts. And then the greatest hits for the LTMs. And then we also have the Rebirth Resurgence Supreme coming in, which has Resurgence longer times, slightly increased HP core to 200, getting elimination now shows enemy squad locations as a ping on the minimap for a longer period of time. And they'll have actions reduce cooldown twice as fast. Avenging a squad mate will greatly reduce the cooldown. And they have better loot on the ground, which is cool. Okay, so let's get into the general section. Most of this is going to be silly stuff. We're going to be looking at Warzone story calling cards. Following calling cards are available, everyone free from day one. So thank you who have played. So King Growl, back when the Growl was king, 100%. There you go. The cracked meta, this is for the DMR 14. This is the Eagle Child. Eagle Child instead of Ego Challenge. Eagle Child. It's a Reddit story. Big Fish. Big Fish. We've got Pest Control taking out, ratty roses here in Grandma's house. So there you go. And then Swap Seat Snipe. This is for anybody who's seen the plane chase, who the guy swapped seats and sniped the other guy. So that's cool. Titanium Trials rules is now getting thrown into effect on the BR mode. So now every circle, the price gets cheaper. So that's a pretty good deal. ATMs from, if you ever played Golden Plunder, the ATMs are now coming their way to Battle Royale and increase number of Gulag tokens and redeploy tokens. Cool. That means at least the lobbies will stay populated longer and more chances to get back into the game. Recommended weapons are coming out to everybody, so if you haven't already seen those, if you weren't one of the few that was rolled out to originally, those are available for everyone. Golden keycard markers are back on the map again. They've improved the manual gas mask, and supply UAVs no longer show red Rebirth boxes. They actually did this change already, so I don't know why it's in here again, but just in case I guess it wasn't working all the time, there you go. General adjustments. Ground loot perks now show you what they do. Cool, for those of you who don't already know. Scavengers will also drop a guaranteed $1,000. This makes Scavenger even stronger than it already was. I like that a lot. Scavenger is great. I already like using it quite a bit on my tempered classes, as it was already giving an additional plate, which meant you never run out of plates. And so that's a good deal. Portable decontamination stations. These are the PDSs that let you stay in the gas. Up to 20 from 13. Yeah, sure. The weapons, ground loot, and Gulag loadouts refreshed, so you've just got more guns from Modern Warfare, Black Ops, and Vanguard available, and slightly increased the variance to offer some on what that was there. So at least it's more interesting. New weapons, the BP-50 and the Liana. As a note, the Liana 57 was pulled within 5 minutes of being released today and says it will be coming later in the season. The BP-50, as of right now, is not feeling great. It's not feeling great. We still have a lot to unlock on it, so we'll see as it continues to go. AMAX has been improved. This one is increasing its max range and upper torso damage. That's a buff. Assault Rifle Hotel. If I remember correctly, this is the automaton and neck multiplier down and torso damage down. That's a nerf. Assault Rifle Charlie. This is the M4. It got its neck shot multiplier up to 1.1 from 1.01. Not a huge deal. It might help a little bit. QBZ is about to be a little bit more of a monster. The 0.6 actually adds up quite a bit. When you consider 27 per bullet, that's an additional, basically, what, 10%? So another 2 damage on neck shots. That's pretty high. On headshots, and then neck shots are up by another like 5%. So a little bit more, not nearly as much as the headshots, but good. Odin was buffed, but only kinda. Biggest thing to note is the arm damage multiplier is to 1.2, which means this is actually doing greater than standard damage to arms, chest, and neck and head, which makes this a mid-torso up monster. Cool. The EX1, no one gives a shit about it. Please stop trying to make this work. It'll never happen. It's like fetch. Assault Rifle Bravo, Auto Burst. This is the Etra Burst. It actually got nerfed. It's kind of weird, but whatever. EM2 got a buff. 1.3 to 1.5, and minimum damage increased to 36. This is going to put this on an actual pretty good time to kill now. It's going to be very similar to the Odin, but probably more consistent because bigger magazines, more alterations to the Black Ops weapon, so it moves faster, and the headshot damage multiplier is going to be higher now. FFAR got buffed as well, and then the Volkssturmgewehr got slowed down, so it no longer strafes as fast. Oh well. The Volkssturmgewehr is already pretty fast anyways, although a, 13% decrease is pretty hefty. The 410 Ironhide, don't try it. It still sucks. Combat shotgun rechamber time decreased, which sucks. But they did increase its damage to 120 with slugs, which means I think this will one-shot headshot at all ranges now, or at close range. I think this is at close range. It'll one-shot headshot. I'll have to test it out, but it should. And then the Shotgun Bravo, I believe that is the Galil, or not the Galil, the Gallo. So that one getting buffed. Street Sweeper also getting buffed. Armor Guerrera getting nerfed across its field. It'll still be discussing. The biggest takedown is probably the magazine sizes, as both of these were one of the larger benefits to this thing. But with no nerf to its recoil control or anything like that, this means absolutely nothing because the gun fires fast, has good damage. These scalers, unless they were changed dramatically, won't change anything. The Armor Guerrera is still insane. Bullfrog, a lot of you love it. It's still not that good. It's just going to be a little bit better. It no longer does partial damage to hand and lower arm. RA225, it is getting nerfed a little bit, quite a bit for neck damage, and then the rest of the stuff is actually going down. So realistically, RA225 is getting hurt pretty bad, but it did get a buff to its 2 small mags. I don't think that's enough to save it. It's still going to probably be mid-tier at best. The lower torso damage multiplier decreased on the Vixen, which hurts this even further. So you're still probably looking at Armor Guerrera and PPSH. We'll get there. ISO, not enough meaningful. The CX9, actually, this does do quite a bit at its rate of fire and its headshot multiplier to 1.5. If you're good with headshots, the CX9 is disgusting now. The KSP, no one cares. Submachine Gun Charlie, this is going to be the MP5. It got a lot of its penalties decreased, so that's good for it. PPSH, min damage to 18 from 19, leg damage to 0.9 from 1, hip fire decreased from 50 to 45, giant list of stuff for the Nambu rounds, Impress Barrel, and Tight Grip. Here's the thing. All this does is damage the mid-range version of this. All of this doesn't touch the hip fire. Not really. So the gun is still going to be disgusting as always. It just now will not be a mid-range monster. It'll just be a mid-range pretty good. Light machine guns LMG. The UGM has been hit 23 to 22. Headshot multiplier 1.6 to 1.5. Neck multiplier 1.3 to 1.1. Recoil intensity increase. This is the part that'll have to be tested because this is the part that it needs. It needs to be less accurate. Muzzle velocity decreased, which is good. Muzzle velocity bonus increased on this one, which is not good. That's the burst barrel. And then the 65, 125 is down to 100, and the recoil decrease is from 15 to 12.5. Honestly, I don't think this will be enough. It might hurt it a little bit to where people might go back to the STG or maybe the newly buffed AMAX if they still remember how to play that. I don't see it really being anything. They buffed the Modern Warfare crossbow back to pretty much where it was before the nerf. Pretty much. So this means as long as you don't land like legs, you're gonna finish them now. This will be a one shot with explosive rounds to anywhere other than the legs, which is good. I think that's healthy. M1 Garand minimum damage decreased to 47 from 48. This does nothing. Initial recoil control decreased. So basically, hard scope is not going to be as useful at the beginning, and it'll still be as useful after a few shots. Sniper rifle Charlie, Modern Warfare. This should be the AX50. Does that sound right? Yes, AX50. HDR's alpha. Oh, maybe this is the Dragunov. I'll have to check that out. Oh no, yeah, alpha. This one increases damage. This should be the Dragunov right here. So it got a slight buff, but it's still the Dragunov. Rytech can now one-shot to headshot at all ranges, which is insane. And minimum damage increased up to 112 from 96. And yeah, this is great. The Rytech will now be viable. It will basically be a worse Grinko, though. Pellington got some buff to its movement speed and stuff like that. Overall, this thing is still garbage because they didn't increase its range. Grinko got nerfed a lot. Bullet drop-off increased, which means its bullet velocity overall. Fire rate decreased. Muzzle velocity decreased. Visual recoil increased. ADS penalty on the smaller one, not worth running. 440 Anastasia. Muzzle velocity increased. Okay. Rate of fire penalty decreased to 50%, up from 100. Well, that's good. So they're basically going to push you into the 440 right here, which is a much slower ADS barrel. So if you can deal with the 420, honestly, the 420 is still probably better. The 7-round ADS penalty increased to 5 from 4, and the 10 from 6 to 4.5. So they're just trying to slow down the Grinko because it was kind of king of everything. Tactical rifles, nothing, because the Klauser VG is the pistol, is it not? So weird. Yeah. The Joker now does 200, up from 175. And then the Launcher Alpha from Black Ops Cold War, which is, I don't know. No one really cares. No one much uses it. It got buffed. Bipod now decreases, or ADS time now decreased by 4.5%. So basically, if you put on a bipod, it now slows down your ADS. SVT 3 to 6, scope magnification increased to 250, up from 120, and visual recoil increased. The 3x6 will no longer be the best to go to, and the 4x8 will not do you much better. So basically, they just want you all to stop using the 3x6 by 4.8. Gun perks, mechanic 200 from 150. Vital now increases its recoil penalty, which sucks because, I mean, Vital was already kind of in a rough spot anyways. It doesn't do much on many of the weapons. ADS movement while firing increased to 4% from 3.5. So steady got buffed. So you're just going to throw steady on Volkstem Gewehr. It's going to be basically back where it was. Recoil booster hip fire accuracy now decreased by 3.3%. So they decreased your accuracy and hip fire on recoil booster. So this probably won't change much. It might alter the PPSA just slightly, but not much. Vixen issue causing various elements of Gulag audio to not be present. I call lies, but we'll see what happens. Missing tier skips, additional collision, issue with UGM causing the MK3 to not be unlockable, UGM8 bipod type causing bullet impact effects and traits not to display. Certain grav blueprint statistics were not matching the base weapon. Whitley sleight of hand caused unintended delay in ammo being credited to the weapon. EX1 causing zombie camos to disappear. Push dagger not causing zombie camos to appear, and issues with camo challenges on some weapons not tracking. So what do we got out of all of this? In the scheme of things, I see the meta, unless if the UGM stuff is enough, people are probably going to either go over to the MG42 if they want that LMG feel still, or we're seeing people probably return to STG, KGM40, or Automaton. The Cooper is still in a really good place, but it's dropped off a bunch. It could see a resurgence with the lack of the UGM now. But honestly, if you're looking for a long-range beamer, you would probably stick with the KHD or the STG. The PPSH probably has no changes, but if the PPSH is hit hard enough to where people don't want to run it or it doesn't have the range that it used to, I could see a return to the Owen, though most people won't. It could because it's a reliable weapon. You're probably going to see the Arma Guerrera still top-notch, the SCG top, and if we're looking at another AR, Automaton, yeah, Automaton and SCG. SMGs, you're looking at the Arma Guerrera, and maybe people returning to the MP5 or MP40. But realistically, not a lot of meta movement here, and people will stop reusing as much Grinko the moment they hear the word nerfed. They won't even look at it twice to consider what's actually been nerfed. They'll just assume they need to do something else. Overall, the patch notes are here. I wouldn't say any of it is really shocking or overwhelmingly strong. So I'd say most of your season is not going to change too heavily, except for primarily just your interactions with the map as they drop different weapons than normal. So hopefully this had some information for you. If you have questions, obviously feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to cover them. And otherwise, you can always stop by the stream and I'll go over my thoughts on this kind of stuff too. But thank you all so much for checking out the video. You'll have yourselves a wonderful afternoon. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.